structures for PYQs. Topic 3: Norms and Values. The glue of society, the structural functional perspective. 1. Introduction and definition. Conceptual depth. Values and norms form the cultural core of the social system. They act as the bridge between the individual actor, micro, and the social system, macro. They transform raw biological drives, hunger, sex, aggression, into socially acceptable actions, dining etiquette, marriage, sports. A. Social values, the ends, the destination, definition. Values are broad, abstract standards of what is good, desirable, or worthy in a society. They exist in the mind but dictate reality. Key thinker Clyde Clackhorn defined values as a conception, explicit or implicit, distinctive of an individual or characteristic of a group, of the desirable which influences the selection from available modes, means, and ends of action. Key thinker Talcott Parsons: values are the shared symbolic system that serves as the ultimate criteria for making choices. In his Agile model, values are responsible for latent pattern maintenance, keeping society committed to its core beliefs. Key thinker Max Weber: in his social action theory, he highlights virtuational, value rational action, action taken not for a result, but because the act itself is intrinsically valuable, e.g., a soldier dying for the flag. Hierarchy of values. Values are not flat, they are hierarchical. Traditional India: hierarchy, purity, holism. Modern India: equality, secularism, individualism. B. Social norms, the means, the roadmap, definition. If values are the destination, norms are the roadmap. They are specific regulatory agencies that specify the must, should, and could of behavior in specific situations. Thinker Robert Bierstedt: a norm is a rule or a standard that governs our conduct in the social situations in which we participate. Thinker Emil Durkheim: norms are social facts. They are external to the individual and exercise coercive power over them. Characteristics: cognitive, we know them. Affective, we feel them, guilt if broken. Cognitive, we act on them. 2. Comparative analysis, crucial for clarity, feature. Values. Norms. Nature. Abstract, general, internal belief. Concrete, specific, behavioral rule. Example: privacy, value, knocking before entering a room, norm. Scope: applies across many situations. Applies to specific situations. Change: very slow to change, deep rooted. Can change relatively quickly, e.g., dress codes. Measurement: hard to measure directly. Observable through action, sanction. 3. Hierarchy and types, the Sumner classification and beyond. William Graham Sumner, Folkways, 1906, provided the classic classification based on the intensity of sanctions. A. Folkways, the ways of the folk, depth, in conscious, spontaneous, and repetitive habits. They arise from the need for convenience and predictability in daily life. Sanction: mild disapproval, sarcasm, gossip, or a dirty look. No legal punishment. Indian detail, the concept of jutha, food contamination, in Indian homes. Wearing white at funerals versus red at weddings. Removing shoes before entering a home. B. Mors, the must behavior. Depth: mors, pronounced more-ays, are folkways plus social welfare. When a folkway is deemed essential for the group's survival, it becomes a more. Violating them is seen as a threat to society itself. Sanction: severe ostracization, excommunication, hookah pani band, or physical punishment. Indian detail, gotra exogamy. In North Indian Khap Panchayat regions, marrying within the same gotra is a violation of mors, often leading to honor killings. It is not just rude, it is seen as sinful or incestuous. C. Laws, the state-enforced norms, depth. Laws are institutionalized norms. They are codified and enforced by a specific body, police, courts. The conflict: laws and mores do not always align. Thinker Roscoe Pound viewed law as social engineering, a tool to forcibly change bad mores, e.g., laws against dowry, intelligibility, sati, customs and traditions. PYQ 2012 focus: depth. Customs are socially accepted activities that carry the weight of the past. They bind generations together. HPAS specific, Himachal Pradesh, the Nati dance, not just entertainment, but a normative ritual binding the community during Dashera. Devta system, theocratic norms, in districts like Kullu and Mandi, the Devta, deity, sets the norms for sowing seeds, settling land disputes, and social conduct. The Gur, oracle, acts as the enforcer. Polyandry. In Kinnaur, Lahore, traditional norms allowed fraternal polyandry to prevent land fragmentation, a norm born of geographical necessity. 4. Functions. The Organic Whole, PYQ 2012-2013, Model Answer Framework. 5. Social control. The policeman role, norms internalize the social I. We follow norms even when alone because of the generalized other, G.H. Mead, the internal voice of society. E.A. Ross. Norms act as the flywheel of society, maintaining equilibrium and preventing chaos. 6. Predictability. The traffic light role. Without norms, we would suffer from cognitive overload, constantly guessing how others will react. W.I. Thomas. Definition of the situation. Norms provide a script that tells us how to define a situation. E.g., a stranger holding a knife in a kitchen equals chef, safe. Stranger holding a knife in an alley equals threat, danger. 7. Social integration. The cement role. Kai Erikson. Boundary maintenance. By following shared norms, we define who is one of us in group versus who is an outsider out group. Indian example. The Jajmani system was a normative framework that integrated different castes into an economic whole through reciprocal duties. 8. Theoretical relationship. PYQ 2024 Focus A. The Culture and Personality School. Thinkers. Ralph Linton, Abram Gardner, Ruth Benedict. Concept. Basic personality structure. The collection of personality traits shared by the majority of members of a society as a result of early childhood experiences. Key argument. Norms regarding child rearing, swaddling, breastfeeding schedules, discipline, create specific personality types. Example. Strict potty training norms, Freud, right arrow anal retentive, orderly, stubborn, personality. B. Socialization is the mechanism. Sigmund Freud. Norms are the superego, suppressing the id, animalistic desires. Critique. Dennis Romm. In his famous essay, The Oversocialized Conception of Man, he warns against thinking humans are just robots programmed by norms. He argues that people have agency. We often calculate, resist, or manipulate norms for our benefit. 9. Problems and critical dimension. A. Anomie, normlessness, the breakdown of the normative structure. Emil Durkheim. Anomie occurs when the scale of regulation collapses, e.g., during rapid economic boom or bust. Unlimited desires, greed, are unleashed without moral checks. Robert Merton, Strain Theory. Anomie is the specific gap between cultural goals, values like money, and institutional means, norms like hard work. Merton's 5 adaptations. Conformity. Accepts goals plus accepts means, the good citizen. Innovation. Accepts goals plus rejects means, the criminal, drug dealer. Ritualism. Rejects goals plus accepts means, the soulless, bureaucrat. Retreatism. Rejects goals plus rejects means, the addict, dropout. Rebellion. Replaces goals plus replaces means, the revolutionary. B. Cultural lag. W.F. Ogburn. Depth. Occurs when material culture, technology, moves faster than non-material culture, values, norms. Example. We have the medical technology for surrogacy, but our ethical norms regarding the rights of the surrogate mother and the child are still lagging, creating legal and moral confusion. C. Hegemony. Antonio Gramsci. Marxist view. Critical view. Norms are not neutral or beneficial for all. The common sense of society is actually the ideology of the ruling class aimed at maintaining control. Example. The value that fair skin is beautiful is a colonial and casteist norm imposed as a universal aesthetic standard to maintain hierarchy. 10. Current topic. Constitutional versus social morality. This is the hot topic for UPSC Paper 2. The core debate, the clash between the old constitution, caste, religion, and the new constitution, law, rights. Shabarimala case, conflict, religious norm, purity, exclusion of women versus constitutional value, Article 14 equality. Verdict. SC ruled that biological attributes, menstruation, cannot be a ground for discrimination. Constitutional morality must trump religious morality. Khap panchayats and honor killings, conflict, traditional mores, Gotra exogamy versus individual rights, Article 21 right to choice. State action. The judiciary asserts that when tradition becomes violence, the law must act as the parent, parens patriae. Uniform Civil Code, UCC, conflict, distinct community norms, personal laws versus national norms, secular code. Goal, to replace particularistic norms with universalistic norms regarding marriage, divorce, and inheritance. 11. Future topic, digital ethics and norms. The rise of the network society is creating a vacuum of norms. The metaverse challenges virtual harassment. If an avatar is groped in VR, is it a violation? Current norms rely on physical touch. We need new norms to define virtual personal space. Algorithmic norms. AI is not neutral. If a facial recognition AI fails on dark skin, it reflects the unspoken values of the programmers. We need ethical coding standards. The right to be forgotten, a new legal norm clashing with the technological reality that the internet never forgets. 12. Conclusion. Synthesis. Society is a delicate balance between continuity, maintained by norms, tradition, and change, driven by innovation, values. Final punchline. As India moves from a society based on status to a society based on contract, Henry Mene, our norms must evolve from being cages of caste to being wings of liberty. The challenge for the modern administrator is to uphold the rule of law, constitutional norms, while respecting the rule of culture, social norms, where possible.